Friday. Happy Pride. My name is Genevieve Gravel, and I will be reading to you from my novella, The Nature of Forces. We are on chapter 28, so let's get into it. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe, because I come to you on the first Friday of every month with another chapter of one of my original stories. As time passed me by on this journey, I found myself amidst a journey of self-discovery. I'd come to realize that not all my dreams were night terrors. Not all my visions were of tragedies. I could see Amber with her silken hair flowing in the breeze. The sun rays hit her face softly, and a swarm of butterflies surrounded her. She held out her delicate hand with grace and elegance, and a single butterfly with a large orange and black wings landed on her index finger. She pressed her moistened lips together and blew. The butterfly flew away, leaving Amber with a genuine smile and a glimmer of true joy in her eyes. I had seen her before bring life, if only for a moment, to the dead things of nature that surrounded her when she left the confines of the castle on the mountainside. I believed she could be a good person if only she would let her ego go. Her powers were grounded in life, a goddess of fertility. I wish she could claim it for herself. I wish she could see herself as I saw her in these moments. At last, Celeste had claimed Amber's powers to save for the Coven, and the Coven alone, and Amber as well as all of the girls whom lived under Celeste's spell. And Alexis could be so giving, and she wanted to be kind. I wondered what powers had she offered. I wondered why Celeste took such interest in Alexis. For a moment, I thought it was merely to indulge her lonely impulses. But Celeste does nothing without purpose, and it's always self-serving. To me, though, it seemed Alexis's powers were no greater than anyone else's, certainly no greater than mine. After all, are we not born of the same mother? Do we not all possess the same abilities? Maybe it was that some of us learned to embrace them. Some of us learned to harness them, while others got lost in their own ideologies that they allowed their ignorant beliefs to shadow over their potential. It felt like the universe was flowing into a single direction while the beliefs of mankind fought against the current. I wanted so badly to scream out, "Turn around! Go with the flow, lest you drown." It broke my heart. And along the journey I had asked many questions of the witch Liliana, mostly about Paulo, my father. The witch Liliana shared tales of the caves sitting on top of the rocky edge. She told of the Institute and the monstrosities there. She talked of the people having body parts cut off and animal parts sewn in their place. She told of draining victims of blood until they were near death, but keeping them alive artificially, in limbo. She spoke how they did not burn the dead, leaving them, or their spirits, to wander the dark mountain, tortured. There are many eyes in the woods all around you, many eyes always watching, she said. Did she know that I had dreamt of it all? Every story and every tale and every horrid detail. My mother had always said we had to make amends before we could break bread in honor of the dead. I asked her, "Do you suppose that it's to appease the gaze of the ever-watching eyes?" "Yes," she said. Such a small gesture, such a small token meant so much, to have one's existence acknowledged. Those souls are our loved ones, our families, our friends, our kind. Should we not try to ease their suffering?" she answered. "At least they do us harm," Kai said. He rarely spoke these days, but when he did, I found his input to be profound, but not so much in this moment. The witch Liliana was the kindest of all the witches, though she had been misunderstood, labeled by society as evil, cast out as a threat to the way of life. She only wished to heal and protect Mother Nature, much like that of the spirits in which we spoke of now. Somehow I found the courage to tell her of my dreams. She said my mother should have taught me what it was to be a witch. We all had different gifts, and they manifested in their own ways. And of these gifts are many, too many to list, but each were chronicled in alphabetical order in the Book of Grunwald. Clouds and ash filled the gray sky. I was finding it easier to breathe, though, than I had left home. many months before. However, I still used a wrap to mask my face and nose and mouth. The darkness that filled the air left only to my imagination what life once looked like with the rich green trees and warm sunshine. The brisk air was chapping the skin around my eyes, and the linen mask was wearing thin. It was torn and dirty, doing little to filter the harsh air. Will we ever make it across this swamp? We have to go around. It is our only chance. It is the only way, Kahai said, changing the conversation. And we crossed the river on a small stone bridge that looked to be of 100 years old. Not knowing if it would withstand our weight, we crossed separately, Kahai first, surveying every step, each one slower and more thought out. He made it with no issues, but my heart was pounding in fear, and I slowly began to cross. Every creak and every crumble of falling stone from my weight froze me in fear, and it took me what felt like forever, but couldn't have been more than 5 minutes. I did it. I made it. I felt so strong and accomplished and exhilarated with pride at the bridge's end. We had walked for days, stopping to eat when we found food and camping for rest, and we'd become accustomed to this way of life. We no longer needed words, and we could use as little as small gestures to look out of the eye to communicate when we found small game to hunt or change in terrain, and we followed the river up as much as it would allow. We could see the lights that had drawn us from The fire was across the river, not far from the dam, Kahai said. There's people there probably trying to fix it, as they have for 50 years. What's a dam? I asked. People used it to generate power and to transport water to town, Kahai responded. He was ever eager to teach of his way of life, and I had become so much more than just another helpless girl. I had become his savior. Not only from the plague of loneliness, I had saved Kahai from his dark hot thoughts and ill will towards society's rejection. He missed his family, and he relished the fact that he could once again feel love, and his anger had dissipated as love replaced it. What he did not know was that he had become my savior as well. I feared that I would not have survived the journey without his extensive knowledge, and I wondered how it was that my sister had fared so well. Her journey was no shorter than ours, though I do believe it would have taken different routes. In my visions, she seemed so direct, like she knew exactly where to go, and had made haste of it, and I suppose that she had spent her life studying the ancient maps that lined our walls, and had spent hundreds of years planning her trip to the mythical land of Alexandria, where life flourished and people lived lives of luxury. I wondered if she felt deep sadness when she found the realities of outside of our protected little lives, and I wondered if she was at all affected by the desperation of the people of Alexandria. Generate power? Like a spell? I interrupted. No, not at all. It's science, Kahai chuckled. Oh, I responded, not understanding the difference. Magic and spells are myth. Science is the study of Mother Nature for the betterment of mankind, Kahai instructed. I still see no difference, I responded. It's all a matter of ego, the witch Liliana explained. I would keep that to myself if I were you when we get to town. No one will understand. They'll think you're crazy. Oh, and make little known of the fact or reference to the witch Liliana. Not that we don't love or appreciate you, but you are known as evil, Kahai offered. Or myth. As with all magic, the witch Liliana retorted. The flow of the river of life slowed to a near stall, and the icy blues and gray of the ashen sky and the tips of the mountain surroundings reflected off the water's surface. The muddied shore of black began to curve on either side, creating a perfect place to cross. The encampment was so huge, it